In today's video, I'm sharing how I do not live paycheck to paycheck, my 3 steps. If you are thinking, oh, it would be great not to have to worry about having to pay my bills and wondering if I'll have enough money or feeling strapped for cash all of the time, then today's video is for you. I am Tiffany Thomas, your wealth mentor. I achieved financial freedom in my 30s and became a millionaire at 40. I'm here to help you do that even earlier and easier and without bias, since I do not work for any third parties. All right, let's dive in and talk about my 3 steps on how I do not live paycheck to paycheck. The first step that I want to share with you, this one is key, is that I started an automatic transfer every time I got paid to my savings account. So once my paycheck would come in, it would automatically take a certain percentage and put it into my savings, and then the rest would go into my checking. I set that up with my HR person when I had my 9-to-5 job. So it was completely automated. I didn't have to think about that every 2 weeks when I got paid. That is my number 1 tip for you, is to set up that automatic transfer. And when I was doing a presentation about finances, my friend had come up to me after and said that she was headed to the bank to set up her auto transfer because she knew this was going to work. And I got a text from her a few months later, and she said she had so much money in her savings account that she would not have had if she did not set up that automatic transfer. So she was so glad that she did that. So that is a big game changer. If we can set up that automatic transfer so that we don't even have to think about it, we don't even see that money, then we are going to be able to build up our savings, build up an emergency fund so that we do not need to live paycheck to paycheck. And going along with this, if you set up your transfer and you realize that you are spending more than you're making and you're going into the hole every single month, then I would take a look at my expenses and see where I could cut back immediately, because I would still want to be transferring money to my savings account. And you can select your own percentage or dollar amount, whatever's going to work best for you. And honestly, if you're just starting with 1%, do 1%. Start where you can and then increase that over time. And I would take 10%. I would pay myself and God as well and have that auto transfer. And then I would increase that over time. But nonetheless, start where you can and get that automatic transfer set up so that you can build up your emergency fund, because we know emergencies are going to happen. And if we are living paycheck to paycheck, we are not going to be able to take care of those emergencies, and we'll continue to live paycheck to paycheck. And if you've already done this, comment below and tell me that you have your automatic transfer set up. Or if you are going to do it, then comment below and tell me you're going to do it. And also, going along with this, when you're looking at your expenses and seeing where you can cut back, we want to take a look at what we really need. If we're trying to build up our savings so that we aren't living paycheck to paycheck, there may be some things we consider a need, but it's not really a need, right? Amazon Prime subscription, not a need. Netflix, not a need. Amazon Music, not a need. Right? There are a lot of subscriptions that I feel like a lot of people have that they think, oh, I need that. No, not the case. If we're trying to build up our savings, we do not need a lot of these subscriptions. And plus, with Amazon Prime, we are more likely to spend more money if we have that subscription, knowing that we can get it right away or have free shipping, right? So really take a hard look at your expenses and get rid of those non-essentials. And this doesn't have to be permanent. We don't have to do this for the rest of our lives. This can be a 6-month transition, right? We can just say, okay, for 6 months, I'm not going to have Netflix, or I'm not going to pay for Disney Plus, whatever it is. And then in 6 months, once I build up my savings where I want it to be, then I can go back and I can add that subscription. Or maybe we'll see we don't even miss it. We weren't even using it that much, so we don't want to add it back. But we really want to set our priorities and stop living paycheck to paycheck so that we can sleep at night we can have that peace of mind and not be so stressed. Okay, and then let's move to step number 2. And this is that I don't look at money as something to spend as soon as I get it. I look at money as a tool to help me build my wealth. I'm not looking at it as just something that I can spend to buy something instantly and have that instant gratification. So we want to change our mindset around money and look at it as a resource or as a tool to help us build our wealth, because that's what it is. It's a tool. We can use it however we would like, but if we start to realize that it can help us build our wealth, it can help us build up our savings and build up our investments, and then we can have as many subscriptions as we want to because we have these investments. We have our money working for us. And we need to, for me personally, when I look at money as a tool that can help me build my wealth, then I start to think, oh, okay, then where can I put my money so it will help me build my wealth, right? That's why I purchased multiple properties, because I knew that would help me build my wealth. That helped me create cash flow. And I was able to become financially free by investing my money. So really take a look and decide where you are with your money mindset and if there are adjustments that you can make to help you improve your current financial situation. And part of this mindset goes back to my childhood. We didn't celebrate payday. I never knew when my parents got paid. We didn't go out for ice cream or go to the movies on payday. It was just a regular day. They had their finances set up and they were paying all of their bills and, helping us kids with different things that we needed help with, whether it was buying my violin or things like that, right? They were conscientious of where their money was going, and they weren't just spending it all on payday. So I am grateful that I did grow up in a home that didn't have that mentality of just when you get paid, you spend it. And hopefully I have been able to take that mindset and improve upon it, because I like to take it one step further. And as soon as I get paid, I invest a certain amount of that money. I already have my savings, so I'm not putting it into savings, but I am investing it as soon as I get it so that it can continue to grow for me over time. And in going along with investing my money, one of my favorite books is Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And if you haven't read that, I will leave a link below. I highly recommend it. But essentially one of the things he talks about in the books is to invest in an asset that is going to pay for your liability. For example, if you want to purchase a new car, then purchase a property first and start creating cash flow every single month that can cover your monthly car payment. So if we are focused on building our assets first, things that are going to make us money, those assets can buy our liabilities, things that are not going to make us money, but we would like to buy them. And then the third step that I want to share with you on how I do not live paycheck to paycheck is by not paying any credit card interest. I have a lot of different credit cards and I only use my credit cards. There's only a couple bills that I can't pay credit cards or I can't pay with credit cards. So that comes directly out of my checking account. But the rest of the money that I am spending goes on my different credit cards. And yet I have never paid interest. And that's because when I am purchasing on my credit card, I know that I have the full amount to pay that credit card off before I get charged any interest. If we want to stop living paycheck to paycheck, we definitely don't want to be putting extra on our credit cards that we can't pay off in full, because we would be paying that original amount that we put on the credit card plus a really high interest rate. So we are paying a lot more for our purchases than we originally planned because we're paying credit card interest. So we want to take that mindset of, if I can't afford this, to buy this right now, right out of my checking account, then I'm not going to purchase that. I'm not going to put it on credit and pay interest for this item. Honestly, I do not think that is worth it. And from my mindset, I want to build up my wealth, and then I can start spending more lavishly if I want to. I don't have to do that, but I have that option because I have built up my wealth enough that I can spend more on other things if I want. For me, it's not really worth it to have that stress of debt hanging over my head, especially credit card debt, where it's a very high interest rate, and not being able to sleep at night, or just being stressed about having to pay that off and worrying about how much I'm going to be able to pay down in a certain amount of time. That is not something that I find as a priority or that I value. I value staying out of debt, and I value my peace of mind. I value being able to sleep at night and not worry about money. And if I was living paycheck to paycheck, I would constantly be worried that something was going to happen and I wouldn't be able to pay for it. So I have the mindset of, I know I need an emergency fund. I need a way to pay for these emergencies. And I know that I want to build my wealth over time and become financially free, which I've already done. And that way I can spend my time and my money on things that are important to me, the things that I really value, instead of just swiping the credit card and spending whenever or whatever and not even realizing what I've spent my money on. So comment below and tell me if you are going to make some changes. I am curious to know. And if you do want help improving your money situation and learning to invest your money, I will leave a link below in the description. You can click on that link and get the details on how you can work with me. And make sure and hit the subscribe button and the like button and share it with someone else who would like to hear this information. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.